That's right.
Welcome to Trips One Football, y'all.
That's right.
My name is Joe Brown.
I'm Nick Rowe.
And I'm Elliot.
And that's us. And that's Joe.
Are we still doing the I Hate Patriots?
The
Always.
Patriots sticker.
What are we here to talk about today?
So today we're going to talk about some free agents, some free agency in the NFL.
That's right.
Lots going on, lots
Tons.
to talk about.
Tons. And then also I would like to go with, before we even do that, is what has happened over the past week, too.
Oh yeah,
That's a big one.
yeah. There's a lot of moves going on.
As soon as we finished that video, there was a lot of things that happened right after.
Oh yeah, almost immediately. In fact, Tyrod Taylor.
Yes.
We'll miss you, buddy.
Got traded.
Yeah, he's going to Cleveland.
That's right.
Jarvis Landry's going to join him there. That's cool.
Which is very interesting.
It's a move.
That's a very big move. And what did he get traded for? Was it a fourth and a sixth?
Something
For
like
Jarvis
that.
Landry? I think it was a fourth and a sixth rounder. That's it. And he led the league in receptions with 112. With a quarterback that was going to be retired?
Cutler and Moore and Tannehill. It was like a quarterback carousel just in Miami.
Yeah, it was.
But Minnesota went through the same thing.
True.
Slightly different end result.
And Taylor got traded, which you talked about, and he got traded for
What was it,
a
a third?
third rounder.
Yeah, first pick in the third round.
65th overall. Joe, and any thoughts, any comments on that one?
I think the Browns want to become a team this year.
I think so too.
Well, I think the reason why they made those trades is because the GM finally decided they didn't want to suck anymore.
Well,
And-
when you go 2-15 and
No, it was 1-15 and 0-16. That's 1-31.
Yeah, back-to-back seasons. That's not good. That's not a good record.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah,
That's-
it's about as bad as you get.
And by the way, I do want to let you know that I called it. I have to say, I called it. Richard Sherman going to San Francisco.
Yeah, that's awesome news. Good for you, Richard Sherman. Stay
yeah,
on
we
the
did
coast.
that where you can get at the
Yes.
Seahawks twice a year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That makes
He,
sense.
he
Absolutely.
said it's definitely, that was his motivation to go to them. It
Yeah.
wasn't money, it was to get back at the team that let him go.
Yeah, the payback. Yep.
hmm
That's where Michael Bennett's going to thrive too, going to Philadelphia. We talked about that last week, though.
Yes, we did. Yes.
Kirk Cousins
Yeah,
That's a big one.
that's a big deal.
going to the Vikings. Guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Alright, you guys are going to disagree with me, but I don't think you should ever pay a quarterback as much as money as they're paying these quarterbacks because they can get hurt
No, I agree with you. I agree
or
with
be
you.
on the bench.
For the first time in history, I actually agree with you on that.
I feel
really
like
do.
that's going to have to be dittoed because, yeah, there is no reason for that kind of money. I understand his 4,000-yard passing seasons, but that's with a completely different offense, a completely different offensive coordinator, a different style of offense potentially.
Different O-line.
Different
and
O-line and everything, different snap counts, everything. So
It's
I understand that these quarterbacks can transition. He's been doing it a while, but to pay him $84 million, that's a lot of money, especially
So-
when you guarantee
so-
most of that.
Here's my question, and this is a good one because I'm going to put it up here because I would like to know who's going to have a better season in 2018. Is it going to be Kirk Cousins in Minnesota or Alex Smith in Washington? That is going to be absolutely amazing to even think about because we already know what Kirk Cousins is capable of because he was in the Washington offense.
Right.
Alex Smith had a pretty good season with Kansas City, so now he's going to take over.
Yeah.
Who's going to have a better season? It's just boggling my mind. It's just going to be awesome to. I mean, do you want to take bets on this? Because I think that's
offense
interesting.
in Washington, it is very interesting.
Yeah.
That offense in Washington is very good. I mean, so is the offense in Minnesota. Minnesota kind of hangs on their defense a little bit more, but yeah, that could be a really interesting transition, especially for Alex Smith. He's coming from a prolific offense where they've got a lot of speed guys.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to an offense that's slightly different, but I still think it's suited for him. This could be a coming out party for him again. I mean, he kind of had a reboot in Kansas City after his stint in San Francisco. Maybe this is what he needed, another change of scenery. I don't know.
I mean, they made the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the thing. Washington didn't, and
Right.
Kirk Cousins, he put up the numbers year in and year out, but yet they couldn't get over the hump
Right.
with that record. And I don't think, in all honesty, in my opinion, I think Kirk Cousins is going to have a better year in Minnesota than Alex Smith will in Washington. That's just my opinion.
Could be.
Shout outs to Mr. Malcolm Butler, signed with the Titans.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I don't regret. He was a great player for the Patriots. Helped us win a Super Bowl. But 5 years, $61 million, that's a great deal for him.
It is a good deal for him. He's finally getting rid of the Patriots.
But Packers signed tight end Graham and cut wide receiver Nelson.
Yeah.
Nelson's done a lot for the Packers, but last year he didn't do good enough numbers, I would say.
When did he get hurt? Did he get hurt 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago and a little bit last year again too.
Yeah.
I think it's probably better for the organization that, or maybe better for him that he might even retire, considering his age and his injuries. But
where do you think he's going to go if he does play? I mean, that's the big question. You know, because his age is up there.
well,
So,
not to like
he
honestly,
is up there. I think he's like 34 or 35, isn't he?
he's
I'm
like
hearing
30.
Patriots are contender.
Well,
Should I bring this goddamn ticker back up again?
I think so. I think we gotta hate Tom Brady, hate Tom Brady, hate Tom Brady.
Hey,
There's three in a row.
we just
So,
lost Danny Amendola
Well-
to the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's
That's good.
To the Dolphins.
yes,
That's
but
good.
remember, you also took Wes Welker from the Dolphins years ago. So I feel like this is just you're paying him back. Here you go, Dolphins. Here's a receiver.
We took a man named Hogan once from
Yeah.
that team called the Bills.
I heard about
Who
that.
never used him.
Yeah, and he did okay. He wasn't like a Randy Moss, or he wasn't like that really good player for receiver.
He's
He
not
did
Brandon
okay,
Cooks. He's not Randy Moss. He's not going to be those guys, but he doesn't have to be.
but he was like that with the Bills too. He was
Yeah.
underutilized, and I
He
think
was-
that's what his career's going to be.
Yep.
Bradford set to sign a 1 year, $20 million deal with the Cards.
Bradford. Oh, that's interesting.
Yep.
Well, that's because they lost Carson Palmer to retirement. So they need somebody to replace him. So that means if they got Bradford, he only played 2 games last year, and then he got hurt with Minnesota. So he's not the answer in Arizona. I was hoping that he was going to go to Buffalo. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
As just like that bridge person to go from, okay, you have Tyrod Taylor, you trade him, you sign Bradford, then you get that quarterback that of the future, and then you just ease them in
Yeah.
while you have Bradford. Now, of course, we all know that it's not going to be a good season. I can guarantee you it's not going to be a good season because you're going to go with that experienced quarterback in the beginning, so he might go 1-2, 1-3, 2-4, something like that. You just won't see it.
Yeah.
Then you're going to ease this young quarterback in, and we all know it's just not likely. Yeah, we've seen Dak Prescott, where he just comes in and just lights the world on fire.
Well, this just breaking in news right now. Jets assigned Tremaine Johnson for $15 million per year.
That's pretty high.
That's a lot for him.
What position?
Tremaine Johnson?
Yeah.
I believe he is a corner. Let me double check that.
I can't because I don't have my phone.
Drafted by the Rams in the 3rd round, 2012 pick. Johnson spent the entire season with the franchise, both St. Louis and Los Angeles Rams. Rams
Oh,
twice
it's a corner.
tagged
You're right.
Johnson to
Yeah.
keep him in Los Angeles.
That's okay. The Rams are really trying to stock up.
Oh, I'm telling you, they have a great secondary.
But the other good thing for the Rams is that they're going to cut Sammy Watkins by.
They already did, and you want to know what?
He's made of glass.
Do you know where he's going?
Oh, Watkins? I heard he's going to the Packers.
No, I heard the Chiefs.
Oh.
The Chiefs.
I heard he's going to the Chiefs.
Well, they haven't inked the deal yet, but apparently the
Well,
Packers were interested in Graham Robinson and Watkins.
We all know that tampering started as of yesterday.
Yeah.
So that tampering is legally where players can actually negotiate contracts with other teams. Can't be official till
Right.
tomorrow afternoon. So
Right.
we're hearing all these things. Any player can pull a Josh McDaniel. Can happen. You can
Yeah,
walk in the
that's-
door.
that's true. They could-
We've seen the meme, okay? We've seen the meme where Grandpa Simpson walks in the door, turns around and goes right back out the door.
Yep.
It can happen. So these deals aren't 100%.
No, of course.
You know, we all know that Drew Brees signed that contract
Oh,
to stay
man.
in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's for real.
What
You know-
happens?
You know he's not going anywhere.
You all know it can happen,
Uh-huh.
where a team could just come in and say, "Well, you're going to sign $27 million back, with New Orleans." What if a team just comes in and says, "We'll pay you 32"?
Yeah.
Redskins set to
Possible.
get wide receiver Richardson on a $40 million deal.
Oh,
That's a lot.
$40 million.
yeah.
Yeah.
40 million for Richardson.
Whew,
With $20 million guaranteed.
that's too much.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, you guys are gonna shed a tear.
God, what now?
Paul Pelosi
Yes.
announces retirement.
Yes.
Yes, he's in.
He was drafted in 2007 by
The Bills.
the Bills. It's true.
He did some good work here.
He did, and then he went to Jacksonville, and he will retire as a Jaguar. I think that's interesting. So he played 11 years into the season, 11
Right.
seasons.
Ravens released Woodhead today,
Well, former Patriot.
and he's been around to different teams. He was hurt for a little bit last year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Bills set to ink DT.
Oh, yes. I
Oh,
wanted
yes.
to talk about this
Wait,
one.
wait,
This is
wait.
great.
How do you say this name?
Starlight.
Starlight Latulele.
Latulele.
Yes, Latulele.
Latulele.
He played for the Panthers, and he was the defensive tackle for them in that great defense. I think the reason why they signed him is because, well, Sean McDermott. I think, he has that Panthers tie.
Oh,
So I think that's great. So he had, if I remember correctly, he had 1.5 sacks, 23 tackles, 1 fumble recovery last year. He's not a bad option
No,
because they also re-signed Kyle Williams, which is great.
that's great news.
So now
Good
you
for
have
Kyle.
Latulele and Kyle Williams. So now you don't have to find that person to replace them. So now you have 2 defensive tackles. Fantastic. They're probably going to lose Preston Brown.
Yeah, that's a good possibility. He
I'm
wants
a-
to go to New England, but he's going to go somewhere where they can actually pay him a good contract.
I'm a little upset about that. If he does go to New England, I'll have to slap you.
He tied the league for most amount of tackles.
He did have the most
Combined
tackles,
tackles.
156.
Now, what about Drew Brees re-signing with the Saints again? $50 million.
That's a
27.
big,
Yeah, that is.
big contract.
He's 39 years old.
But he made 27 million last year, as far as the report. So
And if I remember correctly, by doing the numbers last week, is that he had, if I remember correctly, he had 4,000 yards passing, 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He was okay. It wasn't his best season.
And Watkins is going to the Chiefs with a 3-year, $48 million deal.
Called it. Yeah.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
It'll help the
But
receiving
they're
corps.
saying that could help Des Bryant when he goes for his contract.
yeah, he's gonna get paid some money.
Yeah, but the problem is with that is that who the hell's going to throw him the ball? Patrick Mahomes? Ooh. Well, I mean, Watkins had some good games in Los Angeles with the Rams. He had some good games. He was hurt, but he was okay.
Case Keenum goes to the Broncos.
Now that's interesting
That is very interesting.
because now you know that the 3-headed monster of Paxton Lynch, Simeon, and Brock Osweiler, that's going to be broken up.
Oh yeah.
So, out of those 3, who stays and who goes?
And
Yeah.
the bully of the
Yeah.
NFL just got kicked out of Miami, Sue.
Yes, Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah, we thought that was going to happen. A hell of a talent, especially at his position. The issue that I have with him is his attitude.
It's a lot of
on the
rage.
field and off the field.
There's a lot of rage on the field.
It's a lot of anger issues that.
He was fined 7 times in his career.
Yeah, that's
Eye
bad.
gouging,
He's a
stepping on
liability.
people.
Kicking people in the crotch.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, he's a liability as far as I'm concerned. So if Miami's not gonna take him, he's gonna end up somewhere where they don't care. They want to, they got a lot of cap space. They want to sign a big name and make a big splash. So he'll go somewhere like the Jets or the Giants, maybe. But
I tried figuring that all out too because it's something about where if they cut him today, it's like they cut him in June. So they save money by cutting him before the trade deadline or before something, and they would only save $9 million on their cap, yet he is a cap hit of $27 million.
yeah,
So it's a long ordeal. I'll put it up here so that way everybody can actually figure out the exact lingo of how much the Dolphins actually saved by cutting him. But it's ridiculous.
It's a big number.
To me, it's dumb. I think it's really stupid. I think it's the Denver Broncos all over again. When I'm going to bring him up again, I'm going to put him up. Josh McDaniels, when he was the head coach of Denver, he screwed up everything because they brought in Jay Cutler, screwed up everything. They took out all the receivers. They're taking out all their defensive tackles and cornerbacks and defensive players. Miami's doing the same damn thing, and I couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier because then Tannehill's going to come back. He's not going to have anybody to throw to because Landry's in Cleveland. And Miami's going to probably go 4-12.
Now, this was
Well,
posted
you can
yesterday, but things have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Bills were trying to go for Sam Bradford and
Yeah.
Case Keenum. Well, they're being signed by 2 other teams.
That is very
Yeah.
true.
So
Case
who do
Keenum
you-
is going to
I
Denver.
know that the Bills have Peterman.
Yes,
Peterman,
the
yeah.
Peterman can.
Yeah. I mean,
Peterman
the
can.
thing is that the Bills still have a lot of stockpile draft picks
They do.
and room to maneuver. So if they had to move down in the draft to get their signal caller, because you're watching the quarterback carousel that we talked about
Last week.
Last week, all these guys are starting to land. Kirk Cousins is
But
going to
that-
finalize a deal. Alex Smith, we already knew about. Breeze obviously staying in New Orleans, but the rest of it is starting to take shape. You've
That
got
list is shrinking.
you know that
It's
yes,
shrinking.
it's coming down to even like Josh McCown has been re-signed by the Jets. There's a lot of these guys that are just gone now, and Bridgewater, it's looking like he might sign a deal with the Jets too, and that's going to leave the Jets some options at quarterback. And when they
I
come
think
to it,
the only
So-
player that would leave, in my opinion, or there's just only 2 players, is one, you're going to trade for Foles, which I think is dumb. I
Yeah.
wouldn't do it.
yeah,
And 2, A.J. McCarron, the Cincinnati quarterback
Yeah.
that they botched. Cleveland botched in the trade last year. Now, he only started 5 games in his career, so he's a little bit of unknowns. Really don't know exactly what he's going to do.
right.
But again, it's that bridge player, so I really think A.J. McCarron could be that player for the Bills. And if he is, I couldn't be happier. Because then, earlier today, or yesterday, I think it was yesterday around 4 o'clock, the Bills made another trade, and they traded away Cordy Glenn, the left tackle that was hurt for 10 games last year.
Yeah.
They'll save them $5 million on their salary cap. They also traded away their 21st pick to Cincinnati for the 12th pick overall, so they move up 9 slots,
Yep.
which is great. And then they swap a 5th and a 6th. So the Bills get Cincinnati's 6th round, and the Bills send a 5th rounder to Cincinnati. I think it's a great trade. I think it's absolutely great. You have Deion Dawkins, who replaced Cordy Glenn midway through the season. I think he did fantastic.
Oh,
So, in my opinion, great trade. Brandon Beane is a genius. I really think he is,
Well, let's hope so.
because now...